He is indeed, and if he makes it through to the final, it will be his 5th final at the Crucible, just one frame in it. My goodness me, he's got a cool temperament out there. He looks really relaxed, as you've been saying.
Yeah, it's what the greatest players will tend to do. When the more pressure, they run to the winning line. They don't shy away from it, and it doesn't seem to matter what Judd does. It doesn't alter Mark's path to get to the final. Under pressure, he's producing better and better snooker. The more pressure there is, it's incredible. You
look at their head-to-head overall. Judd actually leads at 13-7, but in 2024 it's been even. They've won 2 each. So, again, it is hard to separate them, but Mark he's in top gear today.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about sort of trying to time the run, isn't it? And it looks like Mark's timed it fantastically well. He's clinical. He's also methodical without being too slow. He's got great method. He's standing behind the shot. He's lining it up, head in line, walking into the shot. He's got a little routine going that is becoming quite machine-like. And I think he's enjoying that process. It gives him something to think about. And, of course, he strokes the balls so well. He doesn't bang anything. When he's got the cue ball all around the black spot area, he's not putting much effort in at all. He knows exactly where the cue ball is going. It's a joy to watch, but the only person who doesn't like watching it is Judd, obviously.
Of course. Well, let's take a moment now to learn a little bit more about the city that we all love, and that is Sheffield. It turns out it's one of the greenest cities in Europe.
Sheffield has long been known as the Steel City, but in more recent times it has been regarded as the Green City, with more initiatives and plans in place to make it net zero by 2030. So the World Championship final is not the only contest taking place here this weekend, as we've been tasked with travelling around the city to tick off as many green activities as we possibly can. So the teams have been assembled. We've got the biodiversity babes in Sean Murphy and myself taking on Ken and Rishi. What's your nickname?
I don't know. We haven't thought of a name.
Tremendous start to this, guys. Tremendous. I wish you the very best of luck with this.
Maybe the green leprechauns.
Well, I don't know. I'm happy to be Ken's little helper.
Yeah.
So let's go with that. Ken and his little helper.
Ironic that you're the little one in this scenario, but there we have it. Very best of luck to you.
Go on, buddy. Kenny boy, you up for this?
Absolutely, yeah. We can't lose to Sean.
No, of course not. But I feel slightly underdressed because you have come out all guns blazing.
Well, I've got a biodiversity jacket, and your shirt is recyclable because someone else was obviously wearing it before.
In all seriousness, that's out of order. But tell me, how important is sustainability to the sport of snooker? How much effort's being made?
Well, I think, snooker on the whole has to make a difference, and we have to start somewhere, whether it be behind the scenes or with the players, whatever it might be. Awareness, of course, is very important. We have to play our part in the environment. I think that's also very important.
Now, we need to work out what sort of things we can do here in Sheffield in order to beat them. Do you trust me?
Of course I trust you.
OK, well, I've figured out the best way to get around Sheffield. Come on, let's go.
OK, let's go.
Keep moving, keep moving.
So we need to find a way around Sheffield in the most sustainable way possible, and I have got the answer. OK, let's go! I actually think my green mode of transport needs a lot of work!
Keep moving, keep moving. I can hear the alarm.
Here we are. Ken, when's the last time you've been on a bike?
I was 10.
Without training wheels. Now, I don't know whether you know, but in Sheffield there are loads of new bicycle routes. There's going to be a new hub coming here as well, and it is the best way to get around, the most efficient and most environmentally sustainable way to get around the city.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Should we give it a little spin?
Okay.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Hey, let's go.
So Sean, Greater Green is an award-winning scheme here in Sheffield, designed with colour and sustainability in mind, and it's all about people's well-being. It's all about improving the city for the people who are here living in it, and it's quite beautiful, isn't it?
It is beautiful, and do you know what? I think Sheffield deserves to be commended. If you say Sheffield around the world, it brings up imaginations of two things: snooker and steel. And, if you think back to that steel industry that made Sheffield famous, it was very industrial. It's a beautiful city now. Fantastic place to come.
Yeah, and it's great. We've already, in the time that we've been here, we've seen people walking past, cycling through as well. And you can just imagine how this sort of environment improves people's way of life.
Well, after all that cycling in this glorious sunshine, we needed a little drink of water, and we got our sustainable bottles, Ken.
Yes, we do indeed, and all the pundits, all the BBC team have these as well backstage, so they're making a little difference as
How
well.
good is that helmet?
I don't know. Oh, gee. Definitely need a drink now.
I wonder how the other team's getting on.
Yeah.
You do find all sorts in here. I mean, we've got foil there.
So, Sean, a really interesting half an hour of litter picking.
I've definitely unlocked a new skill. I'm way better with this than I thought I am, and in present form...
Better with that than a cue?
I could be changing my mind on my life at the moment. Look at this. This is ridiculous.
See, from the first time you came to Sheffield as a little baby to now, the place has changed a lot, even to me in the last few years. What about for you?
Yeah, I mean, I first came here as a player in '91, as a spectator in '84. And I mean, all this Peace Gardens wasn't around, the hotels, of course, all this area wasn't around. The city has changed immensely, you know, even in front of the Crucible and everything. But they've done a wonderful job, and it's such a hive activity, and it's a lot cleaner as well. It's just beautiful.
Right, the next stop for us green machines. Let's grab a coffee, shall we?
Jeez, I thought you'd never ask. We definitely deserve it after all that litter picking.
We actually really do. Could I please get an oat latte in there, please?
Latte in there, absolutely.
So as we make our way back to the Crucible with our coffee, how thought-provoking have you found this entire experience?
Yeah, it has been very thought-provoking. I think, you know, I've been coming to Sheffield for the best part of 25 years, and to see it and how it's expanded, how it's, you know, sort of regenerated itself has been really enlightening. I found the litter picking part of our morning, you know, quite emotional actually, because, you know, you realise that, yeah, we're trying to do all these nice things in the green areas, and Sheffield's the greenest city in the UK, yet there's a bin right there and people can't be bothered putting litter in the bin. You know, we've got to ask ourselves, what are we doing? We've got to be better.
So completely unsurprising that it is a monumental victory for the biodiversity babes. Of course, snooker is the real winner, but I really hope...
We're the winners.
Of course we are the winners. Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about that. But I
won
do
something
hope,
this week.
and I do hope we have shown with this challenge that it doesn't matter how big or small, any action at all can benefit us all.
Oh, that was brilliant, wasn't it? And it's great to see Sheffield setting such a great example. OK, back to the snooker here. And yesterday, of course, the semi-final between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhao Xingtong played out. Zhao Xingtong making it through to the final. Let's just look back at some of the key moments.
Magic moments at the Crucible Theatre. Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhao Xingtong for this intriguing second session. The tip, that is the big question at the moment. Always missable those. No. That was a dreadful shot. Made the plant. Zhao Xingtong, 4 frames played. He's won all of them.
But can you believe that? And the prospect of giving the 7 times world champion a whitewash in the morning session.
Can't afford to do that. Changing of the guard, maybe. Right here, right now. Absolutely wonderful. 8 frames played, he won them all. Well, he's just got to play no miss snooker, Stephen. Simple as that. A confidence booster if he can. Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the first 2 frames. Every frame massive as far as he's concerned. Wow, I didn't see that coming. He misses a sit-up. And every time I think there's just a little spark coming from Ronnie. This is an easy one. Yeah, he's cueing delightfully now, isn't he? Loop for the tongue. Marvellous.
All-out attack.
Yeah, fearless.
Zhao Xintong has been gifted a lot of chances today, but you've still got to take them. You're still playing the greatest player of all time. You're still under pressure to take those chances.
Zhao Xintong, he's in the final. He beats Ronnie O'Sullivan with a session to spare.
Before the match, I don't think I can win because I play with Ronnie. And he's my idol, and yeah, I just want to enjoy the single table here, and I do that. The crowd is very big, and they always say the come on Ronnie, but I know that because Ronnie is legend and he reserved that, and yeah, but I just try to enjoy the table and concentrate here. So happy, and I beat the Ronnie in the semi-final. Yeah, I still can't believe that.
Zhao played good, deserved his victory. I think he's done brilliant all tournament. Yeah, so all credit to Zhao. I've been awful for quite a while. Just like to play all right, and I just felt I never gave him a game, so that's a bit disappointing,
I think when I was 7, 8 years old, when I start to touch the snooker table, I think that's my only dream.
A very, very special moment for Zhao Xintong as a 28-year-old player, as an amateur, to actually beat Ronnie O'Sullivan on the biggest stage in snooker. And look at this tweet from Ronnie O'Sullivan, how it started versus how it's going. It's such an incredible post there, because obviously he's known him from when he was a young boy, and now Zhao Xintong has beaten him here at the World Snooker Championship to get to the final. What a story.
Yeah, he's an astonishing talent. 28 years old, I think is right. So he looks younger than he actually is. So he's got some experience. He's not an absolute rookie. But the way he plays is obviously a breath of fresh air, in as much as it's probably the future. How are you going to play? You're going to play quickly. First shot you see is the one you play, and you let your talent do the talking.
And of course, Ronnie's been a big supporter of him as well over the years, and he thanked him because he's learnt so much from him. They know each other quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a person to sort of ask for tips and to be mentored by. Incredible. But yeah, he just what he does, he just never seems to miss an easy ball. He always pots the balls he's supposed to pot, and that makes you very, very dangerous, because if you're sat in your chair knowing that whenever your opponent gets in, you're not getting back in to the table in that frame, that puts you under pressure.
Second player after Ding to reach a final of the World Snooker Championship from China. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, we started going to China in '86, around that time, and there was interest there already. I assume BBC had sold some rights to China to watch the snooker. We realised there was great potential there. I don't think we really thought how big it was going to get, but there's so many great players over there. Strength in depth. There's a 10-year-old kid doing lineups and making 147s in lineups. You can see it on video on YouTube or whatever. There's going to be another wave of players coming through, and it's great to see.
Well, Mark Williams is on the verge of joining Zhao Xintong in the final, and Abigail Davis is catching up with his coach, Lee Walker.
Well, the drama and the tension continues to build out there in the Crucible Theatre. Lee, first of all, what have you made of that first mini-session of the evening?
Yeah, I mean, some great play. I mean, this afternoon session, in fact, the last two sessions have been unbelievable, the standard. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Mark can get over the line.
Yeah, Mark's long pot success has been absolutely remarkable. Normally something we associate with Judd's game as well, but Mark has just been that little bit better in that department.
Yeah, I think I just seen a stat there where I was just watching where his long pot percentage for the tournament was 65%, I mean, even if you're playing in practice, if you're getting sort of 7 out of 10, 70%, that's really good in practice. So to do it out there is incredible.
Yeah, Mark doesn't normally give too much away when he's out in the arena, but if we were a fly on the wall in the dressing room during the mid-sesh, what sort of things would we get to hear that are repeatable?
Yeah, that are repeatable, not very much. Yeah, he could be doing anything. He could be listening to music, he could be laughing and joking, things that you would be okay with him doing, you wouldn't do with anybody else. He's just that type of character. If he went in the dressing room all serious, he'd probably kick me out. So.
And it's quite remarkable that 2017, Mark Williams, in the first round of qualifying for the World Championship, faced a certain Zhao Xintong, could end up playing him in the final. That would be pretty spectacular, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I actually remember watching that match in just down the road in Sheffield. Yeah, so. yeah, I mean, you know, if for Mark, you know, even if it ends at the semi-final, it's an unbelievable achievement at his age. So, I mean, to get to the final would be incredible.
And is he surprised that he's made it to the semi-final? Because at the Players' Championship, the Tour Championship, he was playing down his chances at the World Championship. Is he surprised?
Yes and no, I would say. You know, I think with Mark, if he can get through the first round, he's always dangerous. You know, it's just sometimes in that first round is when he can be really vulnerable. He got through that. He played a great match against Wu Yize, and then, you know, obviously the match against John, that could have gone either way. You know, but he's one pot away from going out. But he's such a great player, such a great competitor. He's always got a chance.
Right, Lee, we'll let you go and enjoy, or at least endure, the rest of this match. Thank you very much.
I don't know if enjoy is the word.
Endure.
I think the most interesting thing about the dynamic between Mark Williams and Lee Walker is that Lee Walker is far more nervous than Mark Williams is.
Yeah, if you go in the dressing room, all that's happening is Mark ribbing Lee Walker about everything.
Well, it was just saying, wasn't he? He'll be listening to music, just chilling out. Anyone that's serious, just get out of the dressing room.
Yeah, he's an incredibly laid-back character, and he treats winning and losing exactly the same. I remember seeing him out the back of the Ali Pali after he'd lost in a major round. He was a semi-final final, and you wouldn't have known from how he was acting whether he'd won or lost. That's a great attribute to have as well. It's not the end of the world if you lose, but it makes you stronger if you can think that way.
It certainly does, and he's on the front foot now, isn't he? Let's recap the opening 4 frames of the night. So there you go. This is how the first 4 frames of the night has played out. Mark Williams on the verge of making it through to the final. Stephen Hendry, give us a sense of what you think is about to come.
Well, Mark Williams is going to win this match. I don't see how Judd can possibly get back into it unless he just comes out and doesn't miss a single pot. Mark Williams is going to get chances, and the way he's playing, he'll take one of them.
And Judd Trump would have to be playing perfect snooker if he was to come back into this match and take it to a final frame.
Yeah, I think he needs some help from Mark Williams. He may not get it.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds. Back to Dennis Taylor and Ken Doherty.
Judd Trump to break.